Hello and welcome to Reviving the Global Heart on the 30th of August in the year 2022. Joe Weston is not with us today. You are stuck with me, Todd Hoskins, and Tori Heinsohn. And I'd like to start today. Every week we gather, we have a discussion or a motivation, we do our practice, and then we have time for reflection and a dedication. Today, I'm going to start with a question. Think about one of your favorite trees. Could be from your childhood, could be on your property right now. And if you're able, type into the chat something about that tree. Maybe the species, maybe where it is, maybe if you gave the tree a name. Oh, Carolyn, Japanese maple. Yes, they are striking. Ah, golden. Yes. Okay, thank you for that. An oak. Black walnut. Jackie, thank you. Weeping willow. Uh-huh. Another sacred oak. Oh, yes. Wow. 300-year-old silver maple. Oak. And I would add to this list, we have a sugar maple in our backyard that is about 175 years old, but takes care of the temperature of our home. Never gets too hot because the giant tree provides shade. It's lost some branches over the years that we've lived here, but it still grows, it leaves out. We played a game trying to estimate how many leaves it has and determine it's somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000 leaves. It's a home to squirrels, to spiders. There's a bird feeder hanging on one of its branches. And just to be around that tree brings me a sense of both comfort and strength. What does this have to do with reviving the global heart? Well, last 3 or 4 weeks ago, when I was a guest on this, I posed the question, what if it's not all up to us? The reviving the global heart is not just a human endeavor. And this morning, as I was hiking through the woods, I realized I really feel drawn to talk about trees this morning.
Love that.
Welcome, Shelley.
Thanks, Todd. I came in right at the right moment. We're talking about trees.
Yes, we are. So, Shelley, some people put a meaningful or favorite tree in the chat. It's a shame that you coming in late, you don't get to see all of them, but there's a nice variety. So I'd like to open it up to this group of, could trees be connected to reviving the global heart? What can we learn from trees, or how can we depend on trees for this movement that we're in of reviving the global heart? And you can type something into the chat, or you can just speak. There's only 14 of us, so I don't think we're going to talk over one another.
So I know I just got here, but I haven't been here in a while, so I have to just dive right in. When you ask the question of what do trees have to do with reviving the global heart, I just think of the incredible network of collaboration and support that the underground roots of the trees work together with. And when one tree is about to go down and has completed its life, it not intuitively, because they don't have minds, but it's like there's this phenomenal mystical magic that happens of whatever that tree is got left in it. It just leaves it in for all its friends in its vicinity to take up what it has yet left to offer. And like the network that lives underground and that allows the beauty and the strength and the uniqueness of each tree to be its own resilient incredibleness is just awesome. So I think we have a hell of a lot to learn from trees. And I really kind of, and then I'll shut up, wonder where the heart of trees lie. Like, where does the equivalent of our heart live in this network or the structure of a tree?
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you, Shelley. And you were talking about mycorrhizal networks. And I have a hand-drawn illustration from Suzanne Simard here, who was amazing pioneering scientist in how trees communicate, based in British Columbia. You can watch her TED Talk, you can read her book, you can find videos online. Her name is Suzanne, and she is also a delightful human being who I've been able to speak with. And this illustration shows that as the roots go down, these fungal, called mycorrhizal networks, actually connect the trees to one another, creating an underground communication system. Not just communication, but transport. You can see in the black writing, it says nutrients moving, phosphorus, carbon, water. When these trees are connected through a mycorrhizal network, they can feed each other, especially if there's a mother tree like the fir that is strong, that's been around for a long time. It has nutrients to spare. It will help the seedlings and trees apart from their own species. It doesn't just connect. There are some species that don't connect to the network as well as others, but most species do. And this is how the forest can operate as a ecosystem. The communication network piece is that if there is a dangerous invader, think insects, that one tree within the network gets alerted to, they can actually send signals for the other trees that are connected to build up certain chemical defenses because there is an invader in the ecosystem. To me, this element of reviving the global heart, of bridging differences, we don't care if you're young or old or what species you are, we're going to connect to each other and keep the whole system, the whole ecosystem strong. Thank you, Shelley, for bringing that in. Anyone else? How are trees connected to reviving the global heart?
I like to add to the story Shelley told. The trees don't look, are you my friend or not? They are interconnected and they have no preference. Oh, you're my friend and you're not. You're strange, or I don't know you. No. They support each other, and there are also headed for surviving all together. And sometimes the tree must die, no problem, because they always are headed for surviving. I'm looking for a word, but I can't find it. But this is what I want to say.
You can say it in Dutch, Mika. We love hearing.
I love it. Bomen kijken niet of jij hun vriend bent of niet. Ze zorgen voor elkaar. En soms moet er een doodgaan. Nou, dat is oké.
Hank, can you translate any of that?
Trees are your friends.
Trees are your friends.
That is beautiful. Thank you.
I love that from that long, like, what a beautiful thing. Trees are your friends.
What comes up for me is how much they exemplify the 4 pillars of grounded and really reaching for the lowest possible place they can for water.
It wasn't quite like yesterday.
No. Focused in the way of like patient, like they're not going anywhere. They, wherever they like land, that's where they are their whole life, and just focused on that exact spot. And there's a sense of deep patience that that they exemplify for me, that connects to the global heart. I feel like reviving it is like, it's just going to take time. It's taking time. And trees are patient. And definitely strength, like they're just their trunk and their uprightness, and then their branches of ease and flexibility and leaves. I love the quivering aspen that just kind of shimmer. They're moving, and there's such flexibility in that piece. And I think also abundance, like they're smart in the way of they take care of themselves first. Like they are made sure that they are well, and once they are well, they bear fruit or flowers to then share with others. But they won't bear fruit if they're not healthy. They'll leave that in and take care of themselves until they are, and then of course, abundance to others in the form of fruit.
Thank you, Tori.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one more thing I want to share about trees before we dive into our practice. And for those of you who have done a Respectful Confrontation workshop or weekend workshop, or even a Resilient Power workshop, you may have remembered the space exercise. And Joe will often bring in our personal space to this practice of reviving the global heart. The space exercise, for those of you who have not experienced it, is to feel into your own personal space and imbue that space with a sense of ownership, that it is yours, and that you are able to say no to things coming into your space, that you have full permission for that space to be fully yours. Trees have something similar, and it's called crown shyness. We're going to watch a short video in a second about crown shyness. Not all species exhibit this, but what crown shyness is when the crowns of the tree get close to one another, they will actually pull back their growth of branches and leaves in order to make space both for other trees to grow, but also for light to enter to hit the forest floor. this experience of crown shyness, I love the term too. The crowns give each other a little bit of space. We're going to watch a 30-second video just so you can see what I'm talking about here. Not quite yet. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Whoops. Okay, I chose the wrong window. Just a second.
We're patient like trees.
Hmm.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. Had a few too many things going on in my computer this morning. There we go. Okay. This is in Tulum, Mexico, and all of those gaps you see in between is an exhibition of crown shyness.
Do it again. That's so cool. Oh my
Wow.
gosh. That's amazing.
Yes, like a tree dance.
Really?
Can you share that vid in the chat, Todd, for those of us? I didn't get a chance to see it, so I'd love to see it later.
I will do that. And now I'm going to hand it over to Tori, who's going to lead us in practice.
Okay, thank you. Well, that's warming to the heart to learn all of that and to bring trees into our practice and connect us to reviving the global heart. So find your seat on the ground or your feet on the floor, allowing your eyes to close or at least soften. Really bringing all of our awareness to our connection points below us. And really allow ourselves to be held and just sink into those connection points as our spine gently lengthens upward, just like the trunk of a tree. Reaching up, maybe even feeling the head really soft and flexible. The head on the top of the neck, like the leaves. And as you feel a sense of being held by the connection points, by the surface below you, from those connection points, imagine roots, just like a tree, reaching down below the surface, straight down and out to the sides. And from that connection and from your roots, taking a deep breath in through your nose. Pulling the energy up from those roots. From your center, becoming aware in this moment of your physical body. Becoming aware of sensation, temperature. From your center, becoming aware of your emotional body. Becoming aware of what emotion or what one or two emotions are most present for you in this moment. From your center, becoming aware of your mental body. How are your thoughts in this moment? What are the texture of your thoughts? And now bringing awareness to your heart, and maybe referring back to the question that Shelley had of where is the heart of a tree, and where would you place it in this moment? Embodying the qualities of a tree, the strong trunk, flexible branches and leaves, the groundedness of the roots, the focus of being still in one place. Where's the heart? And from your heart, from your center, becoming aware of that part of you that connects to something greater than yourself. From your center and from your heart, connecting to something larger than yourself. Noticing that connection. With a deeper awareness of yourself from your center and from your heart, taking a deep breath in through your nose and slowly out through your mouth. From your center and from your heart, now becoming aware of your surroundings, becoming aware of sounds, smells. Be playing with where the edge of your body ends and space begins. With an, again, deeper awareness of yourself and your surroundings from your center and from your heart, taking a deep breath in. Slowly exhale. From your center and from your heart, now becoming aware of the others on this call. From your center, from your heart, feeling rooted to the surface below you, feeling strong through your torso, feeling flexible through your head and neck, from your center and from your heart, connecting to the others on this call. Feeling that interconnectedness, feeling your roots reaching out, connecting to the roots of each other. Taking each person into your heart and from your center and from your heart. Now becoming aware of all humans in this moment, starting with those that you would consider to be loved ones. Notice what arises in your body. Continuing to be aware of yourself, your surroundings, and then other. From your center and from your heart, now becoming aware of those that you would consider strangers. Someone you saw yesterday, someone you've talked to on the phone or saw on TV or the radio. And from your center and from your heart. Now connecting and becoming aware of those that you would consider to be adversaries. Notice what faces arise, or maybe groups of people. Becoming aware of what you're present to in your body. From your center and from your heart, taking a deep breath in through your nose. So taking as much as you can, adversary, stranger, loved one, into your hearts. Each person into your heart, coming back, becoming aware of the people on this call. Bringing your awareness back to your surroundings. Bringing your awareness back to yourself, back to your within. Back to your roots, to your center, to your heart, to your flexibility. Taking a moment to just assess and notice the effects of your practice in this moment, and from your center and from your heart. Taking one last deep breath together, in through the nose, down into the belly, and slowly out through the mouth. Allowing your eyes to flutter open. Allowing your body to move and stretch. Taking your time, coming back into the body. Maybe then look around your space, just taking your space in. And then joining back together. Welcome back.
Thank you, Tori.
My pleasure. Yeah.
So now is the time for reflection, sharing what came up for you in the practice or in the discussion about reviving the global heart and stick people, as the Anishinaabe say.
The one-leggeds I've heard as well, which I totally love.
It did remind me of the trees I planted 40 years ago. And it reminded me that the trees will be there when I'm not. And maybe when my children, they will see them and they remind the time when they were planted.
Thank you, Hank.
And I love the flexibility. Being lucky enough to have trees all around the neighborhood, including in our backyard, reminded of the limbs of the tree and even the trunk sometimes, and how it sways with a heavy wind, or just barely sways at all, dancing. And as Tori points out, flexibility. It's just a reminder.
And if I could add on to that, we are sitting here inside Washington, D.C., but it's got all the sort of urban resources and access. But we started out, Bob and I, in DuPont Circle, and it was because of these trees that I got him out of that concrete jungle that we call DuPont Circle. So I'm happy he said yes to that.
You know, Shelley had asked, what is the heart of a tree? I don't know if there's a distinct answer to that question, but what came up for me, Shelley, is that trees exhibit a torus dynamic.
Radio. Yeah.
Anyone knows what a torus energy pattern is? There is nutrients and water that comes up from the soil. It evaporates off of leaves. We have the carbon dioxide and oxygen, and it all goes in this double circular pattern. And if we look at the electromagnetic power of the heart, if you see any readings of it, it follows the exact same map. The torus dynamic is what you can see electromagnetically when it's visualized. The torus dynamic of our heart is just like the energy dynamics of a tree.
It's interesting because this time of year and heading into fall, I often am aware that I can look at the trees and notice what my body's doing. Like at the end of summer, the leaves are crisp and they've been weathered by the heat of the summer. And it reminds me to drink more water myself. And it also reminds me, it's always been a comfort to me to recognize the cycles of trees, and that we, in fact, humans, we're cycling as well. So in like times of depression or in sadness or in like not wanting to let go or those types of things, I just look at the trees and I'm like, thank you, teacher. It's just cool to see the reflective pieces.
I wanted to jump in too. Thank you so much, Todd, for bringing up the trees. And this is reminding me of a podcast with Krista Tippett. I don't know if that person was on that or not, but it sounded like that was the same person. And thank you, Tori, for the wonderful meditation. That was so lovely. And this is reminding me of two quotes that when I do pottery, I've had this tree. It's like a tree of life. It's a circle, but it has the tree in it. And there are two quotes that go with it. One is from Samuel Coleridge, who said, "Friendship is a sheltering tree." And that goes, I think, with the heart of the tree and that end of things. And the other one, when I've got this little medallion with the tree, which I press into the clay sometimes, on the back of it, it says, "The strength of a tree lies in its ability to bend." And I think that speaks to what we've been talking about this morning as well. So yay for trees.
And Eliza, indeed, you are right. there is an On Being episode with Suzanne Simard, so I just put the link
Oh,
in the
good.
chat.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd also like to riff off that a little bit if I could. And actually having done this entire meditation while walking in the forest, it was fantastic, Tori, when you were talking about feel the ground beneath you. I just stood on top of a tree log and just felt the ground beneath me. It was amazing. And it was amazing to be thinking about the heart of the tree as well. And just as I was getting that question, I passed by a tree that that has, for all intent and purposes, died. And it's right on the side of a hillside, and you could see the base of the tree, and then you can see like the big thick roots that are going down like aorta. And I thought, there's the heart of the tree right there. That's amazing. I also am struck by the notion of adaptability. Some of the other trees in my life that have amazed me are the baobab tree and also the Joshua tree out in the Mojave Desert, which I see all the time when I go see my dad. And it's incredible, like where trees can be trees. Like they can just be trees anywhere. They have figured it out. They're like, I will be a tree even if there's no water. I'll be a tree.
And look cool while we're doing it. Look like they're
So that
dancing.
adaptability, that adaptability is phenomenal. And that occurred to me when we got to adversaries. I realized that I will orient myself in an adversarial way toward people who do not connect in ways that I want to connect with them. And how could I become more neutral about that? Like trees. Trees are much more neutral about their connection, and they don't disparage other trees or living beings for not connecting the way that they connect. So how could I just become more neutral about it? So I really appreciate this whole vibe we've been on this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Golden wisdom there. When I walk in the sand dunes here in Western Michigan, on the shores of Lake Michigan, we have hundreds of miles of sand dunes, some that reach up to 500 feet, years and years of sand being blown into these dune-like shapes. I can talk about sand dunes for a while too. But there's trees all over the top of them. The dune grass and the trees are what keep the dunes holding their shape. And the fact that we can have these big trees, big jack pines, grow in sand, like it can't be that nutrient rich, but a lot of this sand has spent maybe hundreds of years, if not millennia, in Lake Michigan, where things have decayed, fallen to the lake floor, and then that sand gets blown up into a dune, and then these trees grow in the sand, towering trees, with their roots usually exposed because the sand keeps blowing, but the roots don't move. Anyone else? We've got time for one more.
Yes, I like
Okay, that right there. The sand keeps flowing, but the roots don't move. That's beautiful.
Yes, Nika. Thank you, Golden.
I love to share an insight when you asked us to connect something larger than ourselves. I thought, well, trees are earth and heaven in one. They don't have to connect because they're always in heaven, because heaven doesn't start over there. Heaven starts just 1 millimeter above the earth. So every tree has earth and heaven in one all the time. Now, a good example for me, I think.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Tori, would you offer our dedication to send these people off to perhaps even go plant some trees?
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for showing up and just taking a moment to start with yourself, and a moment of gratitude for taking this time to have this value of connection to this practice of reviving the global heart. And from that space of gratitude and feeling into the wisdom and the 4 pillars of a tree, extending outward with abundance and of service in this practice of being grounded and strong and focused and flexible, just like a tree, using this practice to go out into the world and serve each person as we do. Deep bow.
Thank you for the nutrients.
Joe will be back next week. He sends his regards. Thank you, everyone. Hope to see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.